Raw is dead. Now, I did a preview of this video on Facebook. It's similar to that if you saw it. Different, but similar. Also, I know I just came back from my break. Maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't be doing a video like this. To start off with, it's like getting back with your ex. You don't want to come in too strong, don't want to retread past issues, set off any landmines, step on any toes. You want to ease things back to what they used to be. Unfortunately, your boy, Alyx, man, doesn't have time for that. I'm back, and I am setting the world on fire, baby. And what better way to do it than with a statement like, Raw is dead. Now, when I say Raw is dead, I don't mean the product is dead, as in Raw is no longer gonna be on the USA Network. It's no longer gonna draw audiences. It's not gonna make any money. Although with the ratings they have now, I don't know how long that's gonna be the case. But what I'm trying to say when it comes to Raw being dead, when I think about the Monday Night Raw, the Raw is War I grew up with, the same Raw is War that people like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Mankind, Mick Foley, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and so many others, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, Trish Stratus, Lita, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, legends. The same show, the WWE, the WWF, Vincent Kennedy McMahon came up with, that helped build the conglomerate that is the WWE nowadays. That show that set the wrestling world on fire, that used to compete with the NFL, that other shows, entertainment shows, were scared enough to go one-on-one with. That Monday Night Raw is dead. It's been dead for a while, but more than ever now is it dead. Because the Raw that I watch when I turn on the TV is a mess. It is a commercialized, I can say that a little bit better than that, commercialized, corporate, money-making, money-grobbling mess. And it's so much more apparent now because of the draft. And I said this in my draft rant that people said I overreacted with. When the draft happened, I feel like it did nothing but expose the problems more. Expose what is wrong with the WWE. It just took away the clout, gave us all 2020 vision, and made us see that, wow, this is bad. This is worse than I thought it was. I'm going to name you the issues that I see with Raw. And then afterwards, I'm going to end this on a positive note and talk about a show that I clearly see is the better show, which is standing right now. Those of you asking, I think the draft has been around for 8 weeks now. I'm sure of that because, it's been around for 8 weeks. The only time Raw has been better than Smackdown, when I have 2 times, was the first week of the draft when Finn Balor beat Roman Reigns in the main event, and when Kevin Owens became the Universal Champion. Those are the only 2 times Raw has been better than SmackDown. Other than that, SmackDown has completely annihilated Raw in terms of consistency and the quality of their show. Now, the ratings do not reflect that, because why would it? Unfortunately, people are conditioned to believe that you should watch Raw over SmackDown when you really should be watching both shows. But what do I know, right? SmackDown has been kicking Raw's ass for a lot of reasons. Let me get to the reasons why Raw is doing so bad, very bad, and why I believe Raw is dead. Tell me how this show can contain most of WWE's best talents. Talents like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. You can argue whether or not you think he's a best talent, but in WWE's eyes, he is. Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Kevin Owens, your Universal Champion, Chris Jericho. Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, by the way, as authority figures. I can go on forever. Bo Dallas, The Club, The New Day, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha. I'd be here forever. It contains most of the best talents on the roster. You would think they would have the easiest job of producing the better show. But tell me how that's not happening right now. Tell me how Raw is doing worse than SmackDown, who clearly has the weaker roster. Well, for now. At the rate things are going, by the end of the year, SmackDown would have produced bigger stars than Raw, and I'll tell you why in a second. But how is that possible? You have to try to be worse than a show that is clearly weaker than you. So that's one thing that hurts Raw. The obvious thing that hurts Raw, I don't even have to say it. You know it. What is the number one thing that makes Raw so much worse to watch than SmackDown and NXT and Lucha Underground and ROH? Oh, wait. Yeah, you said it. 3 hours. 3 hours. Oh, but Deluxe, man, it's for the money. It's great. It's great for the business of WWE to make as much money as possible. After a while, advertisers are going to pick up that people are not watching your product. And when advertisers see that people are watching less of this, they're going to stop investing in you. They're going to take their work and put it with whatever is making or drawing the most views. And WWE, you're not doing that right now, man. Maybe your network is. Maybe. I haven't checked on the network buys. Maybe it got bigger since I left. I haven't kept up. But your TV product is doing this. And it's steadily doing this. And advertisers are going to realize, maybe we shouldn't be investing in this for much longer. And I don't even know what kind of company would still behemothly keep their flagship show 3 hours, therefore exposing your talent, exhausting your resources, tiring out your commentators and referees and just people in general that work for you, your employees. When even the people inside the company, like Triple H, who said on Austin's podcast that 3 hours is too much and it's hurting us. Also, Daniel Bryan, who said on Talking Smack, one of my favorite shows so far, and many others. Shane McMahon said it. I mean, who else has to say it? Jim Ross said it. Jim Cornette said it. These are people inside. This isn't me. I've been saying it for years now. I mean, I'll admit I was a proponent of 3 hours at first because I thought the WWE was going to use that as a reason to push more talent and put people over. When all they did was take all that extra time and give it to the same people. No stars were really created. And that's why I am against it now. Because now it's just extra time just for commercials and just to fill up their product. It's a commercial mess. That's the next point. Raw is a commercialized mess. It's an infomercial. It's not a wrestling product. It's an infomercial. It is a commercial of a wrestling show. And that's sad. Very, very sad. The whole point is to make us believe we're watching. Well, it's a fantasized wrestling show, yes, but we're supposed to be invested and engrossed in this wrestling show. That let's be real, it is stupid. At the heart of it all, professional wrestling is stupid. But we as wrestling fans, we know that. We know it doesn't really make sense all the time. We don't want it to make sense. What we want it to do is tell a story. And that, my friends, is the number one sin of Monday Night Raw nowadays. You might get one or two stories that really don't mean much, or they don't really do much for anybody. But other than those one or two stories, Raw doesn't tell any kind of story at all. It is just matches for the sake of matches. And that, my friends, hurt. That hurts me. And I am someone who is biased, that will support his favorites no matter what. I still love Kevin Owens. I still love Seth Rollins. I still love Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Still love Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte. I still love a lot of the NXT guys that came up, and a few people who stayed on Raw. I mean, Cesaro, love the guy. Think he is completely underrated. We'll get to him in a second. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that they're not really doing much with them. Some of these people have been here for close to 5 years, and they feel like they're in the same spot that they were when they came in. Unlike Darren Young, who should be over with this awesome gimmick that he has with Bob Backlund. Should be a comedy gimmick. It should be a genius comedy gimmick. But what is it? It's nothing. And Darren Young is stuck exactly where he was, unfortunately, since the Nexus. Because that was the height of his career, the Nexus. The characters on Raw are, my God. Other than what the NXT talent brought with them onto the main roster, there are no characters. Raw doesn't make characters. The only guy that has made a character, that has managed to make himself into a character, and God bless him, is Chris Jericho. The best heel in the wrestling business today. I love him. He is awesome. But Chris Jericho is already a future Hall of Famer. He's already established. So quite frankly, he doesn't count. He doesn't. Name me one character that was created by the Raw brand that did not get help from NXT besides Chris Jericho. Go, I'll wait. Nobody? Yeah. That's an issue. A major issue. There is no development of anything. Nothing gets developed. We think it is. It may start off like, oh my God, this is going to be great. Like the Best of 7 series with Cesaro and Sheamus. Although by that point, we were already sick of seeing it. I was at least hopeful that, okay, if they just do this the right way, we can at least get Cesaro into the World Championship picture. Which, let's be real. Let's just be real. Cesaro was never going to win the World Championship. I don't think at this point in time they would give him the World Championship, especially with Kevin Owens as champion. It's not going to happen. But I would at least think it would be a platform to him getting a shot at the World Championship and making a name for himself. But what development did we get out of this? We had Cesaro go through the classic babyface, stumbles, hardship. He's down by 3, and he has to make a comeback. And he comes all the way back. 3-3, tied it up. Beat Sheamus 3 times in a row. We have the match at the Clash of Champions. Not Clash of the Champions, but Clash of Champions. And it ends in a no contest because they got hurt. Whether it was planned or not, I'm going to assume it wasn't planned. I just think WWE is kind of making something out of what they are given. Regardless, it's in a weird spot right now. Cesaro was making this babyface rise, and then all of a sudden, what do we do with that? We just, bam, tag team. Sheamus and Cesaro, you're a tag team now. What? How does that make sense? Why should I even want to see them as a tag team? I don't like Sheamus. I'm not supposed to like Sheamus. That's the whole point. I've been ingrained by WWE to hate Sheamus. I love Cesaro. I've been ingrained to love Cesaro. Why would I want to see those two come together? What reason have you given me to want to see those two come together as a tag team? You have given me no reason whatsoever for me to want to see them as a tag team. And some of you are telling me, well, they could be a good tag team. They could if they had good writing, which they don't at all. And wrestling fans, good God, I love y'all, and I'm speaking to myself as well. I love y'all. But we have got to stop doing this to ourselves. We know damn well that as much as we hope that Cesaro and Sheamus will be a good tag team, they are not going to be a good tag team because it makes no sense. There is no story. There is no reason. This is just as bad as putting Alberto Del Rio and Zeb Coulter together. It makes no sense. And some of you back then were saying, well, maybe it will make sense. Don't you lie to me. Some of you back then were saying Del Rio and Zeb Coulter would make sense. When you knew damn well it would not work. And I was saying it wouldn't work. And some of you now are saying Cesaro and Sheamus might work. It's not going to work. And I'm at the point now with Cesaro where I'm just like, what? Why even stay? Cesaro's contract is expiring in the next month, I think. I don't remember the time span between when his contract expires. But if it is expiring soon, why should he stay? Honestly, if they don't send him to Smackdown within the next month or so, he should leave. Because this is ridiculous. Cesaro, to me, is the epitome of WWE having no development, no direction, no anything for people that they don't care about. That's not named Roman Reigns. And people like Cesaro have to get himself over. He has to work a lot harder to get something that Roman Reigns has to just walk into the building to get. Seriously, Roman Reigns got like 2 matches against Kevin Owens over the last 2 weeks. Why? And then they just let him beat Kevin Owens in a cage match. Well, Kevin Owens almost beat him. He still beat the champion. I also noticed that about Raw. Champions lose. Charlotte got beat by Bayley. The New Day gets beat by the Club. And Owens got beat by Roman Reigns. I'm not saying champions have to always win matches. What I'm saying is the way they just lose, just outright lose, at this point, it's kind of like, well, what is the point of even having baby faces and heels? Why even call them that? Why even make people care? Is the whole point of being a professional wrestling show to create people you want to see get beat by people you want to see win? Is that dead? Is that concept just out the window now? Because if it is, tell me. Then I can really stop watching Raw and watch SmackDown, which is still doing that, thankfully. And I'm not even just getting into the freaking dirt with this. I'm still on the surface. I haven't talked about Sami Zayn, how he beat Kevin Owens at Battleground, and they have nothing for him. Makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, we'll give Roman Reigns the U.S. Championship when he got suspended. But Sami Zayn? Oh no, he gets nothing. Nothing. Jesus Christ. Oh, and don't get me started on Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte, the women's division on Raw. What women's division? I see 4 people. Well, 5. Nia Jax, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Dana. Everybody else? Fodder. Paige, well, she's hurt, so I can't say Paige. Well, isn't Summer Rae hurt too? Who else is there? Wow, is that the division? That can't just be the division. I think I'm missing. Well, I don't know where Emma is going. Is Emma going to Raw? Well, she's hurt too. Huh. I didn't even think about how depleted their women's roster is. Maybe it was a mistake to split them up. Like I actually said was a mistake to do. I didn't think it was a good idea to split them up. Although SmackDown is doing a very good job with the women. So we'll see how that goes. Regardless of whether it was a good idea or not, what they're doing with them on Raw is bad. Bad. I love what Charlotte is doing with her heel character. I think Charlotte is doing a fantastic job. She once in a while may, not produce consistently good promos or just good TV as she usually does, I'm not really gonna harbor her for that. But as a heel champion, I do believe she's one of the best female wrestlers to come in a while. Just like I believe Miz is one of the best heel champions to come in a while as well. Get into that later on. This is gonna be a long video, please. I hope you're sticking with this. But what they're doing with Charlotte right now, it's weird because I feel like we're setting up Dana Brooke versus Charlotte for the Women's Championship. And no offense to Dana Brooke, who I like, but hun, you are not ready for that Women's Championship. I hope the long-term idea is to get back to Sasha and Charlotte. Now, I know the whole stuff with Charlotte getting the championship back because Sasha was hurt. She's not hurt anymore. So, maybe we can somehow, some way, create a story that warrants a Hell in a Cell match between the two. I mean, we can scrounge up something, but they'll probably just BS a way to give them some kind of match at Hell in a Cell. It will probably be a singles match because, the women can't have a Hell in a Cell match. Well, because they're women, right? Women can't have Hell in a Cell. Although, if there was ever a women's match that would warrant Hell in a Cell, it would be Sasha and Charlotte. And all you have to do is just tell the freaking story of how they grew up together in NXT and used the fact that they had a history and a rivalry that started on NXT that built to their match at Hell in a Cell. You actually have something. But that's too good from WWE. Instead, we'll probably do Charlotte versus Sasha Banks in a singles match. Although they're doing that next week on Raw, that will probably end in DQ, and then we'll do the real match at Hell in a Cell, and then Sasha will be her then. By that point, nobody will care because you've done the same match 3 times already. Because we don't build anything anymore. I completely skipped over the club. I completely skipped over how bad they have booked Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Absolutely freaking awful. What the hell were they? Doctors? They are the easiest team to book. I swear to God, if I had their job, I would make so much money for WWE. I swear to God, I would. Because Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are the easiest team to book out of any tag team on your roster. All you have to do is have them go out there and beat up people and look dominant, like they looked in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's all you have to do. That is it. How they looked during their match against New Day last night was awesome. Do that every night, and we should be good. Okay? They're a bruiser tag team. They go out there, they hurt people, and they laugh, and they get off on it. That is how they are. But no, WWE took that and made them doctors talking about people's scrotums and those stupid segments. And oh my God, the old day segment. The old day segment is what killed them. I feel like that, my friends, is the coffin. That was the coffin that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows was will be lying in. Was lying in, is lying in, will be lying in going forward. It's just bad. They're going to have to do a lot of rebuilding and just rebuild, reclaim, redesign, whatever, just to get them back. It's just terrible. So on top of champions losing, just bad direction for talents, a championship, by the way, that still looks bad. I don't care what anybody says. I don't really like the design of the Universal Championship. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The Cruiserweight Championship, it's not as bad as the Universal Championship, but I don't hate it as much because of the importance that it carries, and I'm not gonna trash it too much. But I look at that and compare it to the old Cruiserweight Championship, and I go, what was wrong with the old Cruiserweight Championship? That's my problem. The old Cruiserweight Championship was awesome. It looked great. Why not bring that back? Instead, we get this other design that's okay, but in comparison to the old championship, I'm just going, what was wrong with the old championship? It's just baffling to me. But on top of all that, WWE decides to bring in, speaking of cruiserweights, the cruiserweight division, which got me hyped. And then I hear that WWE is completely watering down their cruiserweights. What? You're going to water down your cruiserweights. You're going to have them do that awesome tournament that drew a lot of people to your network. It drew eyes to your network. I heard this. And you're going to take that, put it on your top show, your flagship show. Say that loosely. Which is a good idea. Smart idea. But then when they get to your flagship show, you want to tell them, sorry, we're going to water you down. You're not going to be able to do what you did on Cruiserweight Classic. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? Oh, we don't want them to hurt themselves. Oh my God. I get that I don't have leg to stand on right now, especially since Cesaro hurt himself and apparently Seth Rollins broke his ribs too. But there has to be a point where the company is sticking their nose too far into the wrestling circle a little too much. You know, I'm trying to word this the right way, but these guys are professional wrestlers. Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Owens, Sasha, they are professional wrestlers. Okay? And until some of you who are running the ship do what they do, and I don't know who this came from. Maybe it came from Triple H. I doubt it came from Triple H. I doubt that's something. No, it didn't come from Triple H. It can't come from Triple H because guess what? NXT, they are a lot more free to do the stuff that they want to do when he's in charge. It must be coming from people other than Triple H. I don't know who's saying it, but these guys are professional wrestlers. Cesaro said at the pay-per-view that he wrestled 1 year, one match with one arm. You know, I'm not saying that he should kill himself. What I am saying is maybe, just maybe, letting them do their jobs is the best thing for them. Let's say they were to finish that match between Cesaro and Sheamus, and Cesaro won with one arm. Imagine how much that would put him over as a babyface. That brings me to the last issue with Monday Night Raw. They do not care about their audience. You can just tell the show is presented in a way that shows and feels like we're not really making this for y'all. We're making this for us. You know, we're making this in a way that pleases sponsors, that pleases the commercial donators, the advertisers. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but it's being made in a way that's not really placated to the fans, to the audience, because we know you're going to watch anyways. And they're right. You know, do I watch Raw every week? Yeah. People are gonna come up here on this video and say, well, you say Raw is dead, but you're still gonna watch it. I guarantee you there's like 10,000 comments like that down below. I know. I'm aware of that. But to me, that does not excuse why they do this. This is still wrong. That is still wrong. That is still screwed up. And you know it's screwed up. They do not care about you. Now, we don't make it easier on ourselves. We still chant CM Punk. At this point, if you chant CM Punk, why? You're just doing it because you don't even know why you're doing it. You're just doing it because. You know, it was probably understandable when he first left, but now in 2016, if we're still chanting CM Punk, it's like, guys, can we just use something else to explain why we don't like a match? Like, chant Randy Savage. I think that's hilarious. Randy Savage is like, we don't like this match. JBL or something. I don't know. It just feels like Raw is the same old you know what. And then on the flip side of that, we talk about the A show. The real A show. The show that to me feels like this is what WWE should be. Unfortunately. And despite the fact that it has a weaker roster, which I still believe that, Smackdown is killing Raw. I have it 6-2. It might be 7-2 after this week. Because tonight's Raw was, it was bad. Let's just talk about the reasons. The main reason, and you all know what it is, SmackDown is 2 hours. It's 2 hours. So, to me, it's a perfect length for a wrestling show. You watch it, and you're good. Let's say it was a bad show. Okay, it doesn't hurt you as much than a 3-hour show would, but if it's a good show or a great show, you remember it more because it's a lot easier to digest a 2-hour show than a 3-hour show. Common sense. And then we have Talking Smack on the network, which instantly makes it better than Raw because I love what Renee Young and Daniel Bryan do on that show. To me, Talking Smack is probably one of the best things WWE did since they did the network. It's smart. You have Daniel Bryan and Renee Young do what I'm doing now. They're basically YouTubers on the network. They're going on the network and just talking. They're expressing their real feelings and their real thoughts about the wrestling product. And I think it's actually doing more to get the wrestlers over than the TV product is. And SmackDown's doing a very good job. But Talking Smack, I think, actually does a better job excuse me, the SmackDown is doing to get the guys over because they're allowed to actually be themselves. They're allowed to actually experiment and actually get themselves over and be their own promoters. What a concept. Love it. I love what they're doing with Talking Smack. Very likable GM, very likable commissioner. Absolutely. I think fans, when they hear Stephanie McMahon, they're instantly ready to not like it because Stephanie, not saying that, you know, the real person's like this, but we've been ingrained to not like the character Stephanie McMahon for the longest time. And when we hear Shane McMahon, who just came back this year, we never thought he would come back, right? We hear Shane McMahon and then his partner Daniel Bryan, who had to retire this year, but is now back to lead a show. Probably the two most over personalities that you can have on your roster is leading a brand on SmackDown. My God, ladies and gentlemen, like, why not just tell people to watch SmackDown overall? Just seriously. Everything that they do on SmackDown, and I love this. This is a great concept. Everything that they do on SmackDown, the promos, the commercials, the backstage segments, the hype videos, the commentary, the matches themselves, everything that they do leads to the in-ring product. You want to know why that's great? Because it's easier to create and tell stories that way. When a guy doesn't like someone, they do something. What does it do? It leads to a match. When she says something bad about this one, when this woman says something bad about this woman, what does it do? It leads to a match. When Carmella attacks Nikki Bella, it leads to a match. And in this case, and I hope this happens in No Mercy, since Carmella's been attacking Nikki Bella for so long, it might lead to a no DQ match. What a concept! And you know what? I love it. I think it's awesome. I like Nikki Bella as she is on SmackDown. I hope she stays on SmackDown. Don't you ever go back to Raw. Makes me regret actually disliking Nikki Bella. All of them, all the wrestlers on the roster get dedicated TV time. All of them. The people who don't get it are injured, unfortunately. But everybody gets the time to shine. And that's the best thing about SmackDown. Naomi gets her chance to get over with her entrance, with her look, with her ability. You know, she has a chance to demonstrate why you should love her, why she's different. She gets to show off her traits that separates her from a Natalya. Natalya, same thing. Alexa Bliss, the same thing. Becky Lynch, who's the women's champion right now, awesome, same thing. Even Jack Swagger. For freak's sake, Jack Swagger is getting TV time. Now, will it work out? I don't know. Not everything SmackDown does is a home run. I'll admit that. But the way they're setting things up, people are more likely to succeed because of it. You know, there is no bias. There is no favoritism. Raw is clearly showing favoritism for Roman Reigns. Clearly. But on SmackDown, no. John Cena lost clean to Dean Ambrose last week. Clean. No BS. He also lost to AJ Styles at SummerSlam. Clean. No BS. John freaking Cena. Now, Roman Reigns has been doing that too. I'm not going to take that away from them. But unlike John Cena, when he loses, he doesn't just get a world championship shot. No. Roman Reigns, he'll lose, but, okay, well, he still gets to have multiple chances against Kevin Owens, and then he still beats him, and then he still wins, and then he still manages to, win a championship here and there. I'm not saying that he can't win a championship, but tell a freaking story and stop showing favoritism. Good God. We get that you like certain wrestlers more than what fans like. Fine, but if you're going to push them in ways that's better for your wrestling product. I don't get what's so hard about turning Roman Reigns heel, but we can turn the Usos heel, and oh my God, we turned the Usos heel. They're so much better than how they were as babyfaces. They're placating to how the audience views them, and they're so much better for it. I love the Usos how they are, and I can't wait to see what they do against Heath Slater and Rhino. Heath freaking Slater got over on Smackdown. Heath Slater, people. The one-man band is over on Smackdown, and I love him. I think he's awesome. And I'm going to cry when he loses to the Usos at No Mercy. I'm not really going to cry, but you get the idea. It just hurts. Heels and faces are established. I actually want to root for certain people who are good guys and want to boot people who are a-holes. AJ Styles is a heel that I like, but sometimes he says stuff that I'm just like, no, sir, I don't like you. You're a jerk. And one thing about SmackDown that I love, their champions are legit. Champions are legit. This is where I'm going to give praise to The Miz. Ever since that promo he cut against Daniel Bryan at, I forgot when it was, but it was on Talking Smack. Miz has been a house of fire. That passion, the way he's been booked, the way he carries himself, I love him as a heel IC champion. I've hated all his IC championship runs, but I love this one. This Miz, I'm not going to lie to you. If this Miz beats the Honky Tonks Man's record, I would not be mad at that. I have never, ever seen a heel champion like The Miz in a long time. He's never been this good. And The Miz, I've never seen him be this good before. And I'm happy that he is finally hitting a stride in his career. I'm going to be looking forward to every single one of his matches. And I can't wait to see how him and Maurice continue to escape, and then finally lose to someone like a Cesaro or someone that's very important like a Samoa Joe. I don't know. Because you know what this is doing, guys? This is building up the bad guy. Building him up, which makes him look good, and building him up. And then the person who finally comes and beats him will put him over and make him look good. Therefore, you're creating what? New stars. AJ Styles is the world champion. He deserves it. You beat John Cena, so what do? You win the world championship. What a concept. Awesome stuff. And he should be the world champion. He's the best performer in WWE. And yes, I do think he is more important of a champion than Kevin Owens. Although I love Kevin Owens as a Universal Champion. But AJ Styles is, and I do believe this, he is the face that runs the place. Overall, SmackDown is the A show. And one of the main things that make this the main show, commentary. JBL might get on my nerves a little bit here and there, but you know what? I do like the dynamic of a former world champion and future Hall of Famer giving his thoughts on the show next to Mauro Ranallo, who should be the head commentator of everything WWE does. He is this generation's, I'm not even going to say this generation's Jim Ross. Scratch that out. You are this generation's voice for wrestling. Mauro, you are awesome. Thank you for everything that you do. I love hearing your commentary work. I loved your commentary work on the Cruiserweight Classic. I want to hear more of it going forward. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, because you, my friend, are awesome. SmackDown clearly cares about its audience. SmackDown clearly cares about the TV product. It clearly cares about the product that it gives out to its fans. And as a result, as time goes by, and mark this day, I give SmackDown and Raw 2 months. If Raw continues to be how it is, it doesn't change. It's still 3 hours. It still doesn't write legit storylines, that doesn't develop characters, doesn't establish heels and baby faces, that continues to mistreat people like Cesaro and not get people like I don't know, just give people opportunities. And by the way, those of you saying Cesaro and Sheamus will be tag team champions, you're crazy if you think they're going to be tag team champions over the New Day and Enzo Amore and Big Cass, who are the bigger merchandise sellers. You're crazy. I'm sorry. But if Raw doesn't change how they do things and SmackDown remains consistent, within 2 months, the ratings will show that SmackDown is the A show. Because people will stop watching Raw and will see SmackDown for what it is. The real show that WWE should be. And I thank everybody in charge of SmackDown. And I hope Raw or the people in charge of WWE don't ruin what they have. And they probably will. So, to me, Raw is dead. Does this mean it can't be revitalized? It can't be resurrected? No, it can always be resurrected. Will it be resurrected anytime soon? Absolutely not. Because you're watching this video right now, the people who think Raw is great, and you're thinking, what do you know? You're just a wrestling fan. It's fine. Don't believe me, but you know like I know what I'm saying is the truth. And before long, the entire world will say it. And only when the entire world says it will WWE decide to change. Otherwise, this is what's going to keep happening with their audience, with their money, with their product. It's going to do this. And within 10 years, maybe there won't be a WWE because they refused to change with the times. When NXT, the Cruiserweight Classic, and SmackDown was showing them this is the direction you should go in, they chose to push in this direction. They chose to be out of touch. They chose to be rebels against what society is doing. They chose to not go with the grain. They chose to go against it. And as a result, they lost. So we'll see what things hold in store for Raw going forward. But thank you guys for watching. It's been a long video. It's 42 minutes long. I'm going to end it right here. If you watched it all, hashtag I watched it all down below. But I need to get that off my chest. Thank you guys for watching. It's good to be back. This is your boy, Alyx Man, signing off. Follow me on Twitter. Like me on Facebook. Subscribe if you have not. It is good to be back. Peace.